All right. This is Denzel Snipes. I'm typically the producer of the show, but JB is out tonight. Feeling a little bit under the weather. Get well soon. This is Cubfidential. Uh, so I'm playing QB2 tonight. I'll be your host. Before we get started, just want to let everybody know that you can follow. Hey, Cubfidential. We have our own X at Cubfidential. Of course, you are watching it right now. We're on every Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, check out our other shows on the Sideline Sports Network, the Sideline Sports Show, the what is it? Of course, Confidential, the Sports Insiders with myself and Sean Russi on Thursday nights. The Gauntlet going to be beginning season 5 here shortly. That's our NFL based show. Our guys at First and 56th. Also, Terrible Talk, our Pittsburgh Steelers show. Ken's Pat Talk, and also Hawk Talk with Dave DeRocher and Walt Thurman III. We've got a pretty loaded show. Let's go ahead and bring the guys in here. We got my man Jason, then we also got Hot Botkins in the house. Jacob Christner will be joining us in a bit. How we doing, fellas?
What's up,
Good,
boys?
man. What's up, man?
Doing good, doing real good over here. All right, so let's go ahead and get the festivities started here. So we had a series split, not both teams' fault. The game on 6/18 was postponed, I believe, due to rain. The makeup date is sometime in August. But we actually covered game 1 of the series last week, so this will be the series as a whole. PCA built out his 20th home run of the season, albeit in an 8-7 loss. Jason, your thoughts about the series against the rival Brewers?
I didn't watch much of the games against the Brewers, and I haven't watched much of the Cubs lately. So I really couldn't comment too much on it. But they split the series, which is fine. But Milwaukee's slowly creeping up on us. So, and that's a problem right now.
Okay, all right, and then we'll move it on to Botkins. Botkins, your thoughts about this series as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, you wanted to play that second game. It would have been nice to see if we would have won the series. Like, as a whole, like you score 7 runs. That's a game you gotta win.
Right.
And that's been a reoccurring theme this past week. Is the lack of pitching is finally caught up to us. You know, Jameson Tyon, JMO did not have a great game last night. He didn't have a great game, and this game, and we lose 8-7. I mean, Jason said Milwaukee's creeping up on us. The whole division is creeping up on us right now. I'm not ready to panic. I mean, we're still in first place. We're 45-29. We're still, but things that the faucet's starting to leak, and it's time. It's time we need to make a move sooner rather than later.
Right, absolutely, and especially since the next two, right after the series, the Cardinal series, which we'll cover next week. The next two, they got tough series. Is going to be the Astros and the Guardians. I'm going to switch it over to Jacob. Your thoughts about this series right here? PCA sends out number 20 of the season, so he's still doing PCA things. Yet, like Nick said, you score 7 runs, you kind of got to haul this in.
Yeah, but you got to remember that everybody's got me on the online. What I say, it's like I don't just play the whole thing of yay and then boo, yay. You know how bat fans do and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying anybody here's doing that, but you realize what I'd said, that this team needed a middle reliever and an ace, even when we were winning a pile and scoring a pile and looking of the. I said that. It's like, because I'm not that type that's ever going to be like, oh, we don't need that because everything's so good. It's like you kind of get a common sense thing of what it really needs, because times like this happen.
Right.
Well, I think everybody on this panel's been saying all year, like this week, especially with Umaga out and Steele out.
670. You'll see it on 670 in Chicago, and you'll see people like it's. I said it like that a month ago, and they're like, "But we're in amazing shape right now." These are the types that they miss these situations, because that's what I mean. This is what they miss. It's like these times happen, and it's kind of the proof that you need that there's a trade deadline for a reason.
Yeah, Twitter has been like, Cubs fans on Twitter, it's been 50-50. A lot of them are getting worried about the team, and the other half are just, hey, we're still, certain amount of number of games over 500. We still have a lead in the division. We just need to make some moves, for starting pitching and a reliever. And I see a lot lately a lot of fans have been unhappy with the way the lineup has been put out, and especially with Dansby Swanson in the fifth spot. So, like I said, it's 50-50 on Twitter. So, what I've been seeing.
To me, I'm with you, Jason. Like I've been seeing the same thing. Everybody wants to kind of hit the panic button, and it seems like a lot of people are, and some people aren't. I'm not on the panic button yet because I still feel like this lineup is good. But I've always said our pitching is very suspect. And there's been a few times where it's like I feel like Craig's kind of left the starter out there. The game one against the Cardinals, Ben Brown is precise, and now luckily he's sent to the to Iowa. But man, it's just like we need some pitching. Like we knew this was going to catch up to us eventually. We're going to have to continue to slug. But even when we're slugging, like in this Brewers game, you score 7 runs. That's a game you got to win. But
Yeah.
you were battling back from the whole way. Like just kind of refreshing my memory here. Like I pulled up the box score. Like they score 1 in the first, then they score 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and then they score 3 in the fifth. So like we're battling all the way back, and it's just like kudos to our guys in this lineup. They never say die. Like you could have easily just rolled over and died, but you score 4 runs in the 7th and the 8th, like 2 and 2 there, and you just couldn't quite do it in the 9th. But you only had 6. You had 6 hits in that game and scored 7 runs. So
Right.
it's those things are like, man, like we're not that good to be giving up 8 runs in multiple times in a week.
Well, the coach in me, I have to do volunteer coaching stuff, but the coach in me likes to think of the idea of I don't get overly high and I don't get panic at all, even if we lose 15 in a row. It's like my thought process is always let's see what we can improve for the big moment.
Right.
Right, we start losing 15 in a row. I'm hitting the panic button about game 10.
No. This wasn't my point as I want to lose 15 in a row. What I'm saying about it is like, well, guess what? My thought process is always, well, we kind of left ourselves open to do that. And there's a way to improve it. And we got to get to it. So I don't ever get too high or too low on things because it can be. But the biggest thing about it is I wasn't going to get too high when we were killing it because take a look at that rotation. This is not the 2016 rotation.
Again,
Yeah, you all have said this is better than the 2016 rotation.
Well, you got to realize there's no Game 7 on Hendricks. There's no.
No, I said this. I think this lineup is better than the 16, but I won't say this rotation is nowhere near.
No, the lineup is, but there's no Game 7 Hendricks clutch like that. There's no Arrieta like that. So we need to go get those players.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's those type. Yeah, and you know what? That's actually a good segue into the next series here. A series that I felt the Cubs should have won. The Cubs dropped 2 or 3 to the Seattle Mariners. However, and I think all of us on this panel was watching this game was last Saturday. Ian Happ homered twice in a 10-7 thriller. Keller moved to 3-0 in the season. Ian Happ homered. Him and Tucker went back to back. And then you look up, it's like 5-0. Happ homers again in the second inning. Like it was, and then like you just see Seattle just kind of chip away at that lead, and now the game before it, the Mariners won 9-4, and then the Cubs win 10-7, and after that, they give up 14 to the Mariners and lose 14-6. So, Jason, your thoughts about this series?
They just got outplayed, and the pitching too. I think what game was Rhea pitching in there? He just gave up bomb after bomb after bomb. I think he gave up like 3 or 4 home runs every time he threw a fastball down the plate. It was gone. And
that was the one. Rhea. As a matter of fact, his stats on this game, pitching. Hang on a second. Yeah, Rhea went in 5 and 1 inning pitch. He gave up 11 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 bad ball, 2 Ks.
Yeah, that was
his last outing was pretty bad too, wasn't it?
He's been up and down as well. Like I think so. It just can't. I'm trying. Was that the Sunday game he pitched? Because he didn't pitch the Friday game. So it had to have been the Sunday.
It was the Sunday game.
Okay, no, but here's the thing about it though. Here's the thing with Ray. He started out the season 2-3 innings, like going into Dodgers and doing all that kind of stuff, and he got hot. And he was hot for he's been hot for 2.5 months, and it's finally starting to. So I mean, he's kind of regressing back to the mean, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. Well, back to Bockins. Your thoughts about this series as a whole?
Yeah, so Sunday's game with Colin Ray pitching again. I think Seiya had two. He homered twice, but he also had um, two errors in that game, two kind of costly errors in the game. They scored 5 runs in the eighth inning. Like that'll do you in on Sunday. Again, the Cubs scored enough runs in both these games. Like on Friday's game, they scored 4. You lose. They had a nice lead in that game early, and those are games you got to win. Like they started that Friday game up 3-0, I believe, and lose 4-9. Like that's a game you got to win.
It is.
You bounce back Saturday, but even Saturday was still a slugfest. Like,
It
it's
was.
like we were up 3-1 after one on Friday, and then even Saturday's game we scored a bunch of runs, and they scored a bunch of. We just were able to hold on here. And even on Sunday, it's like 6 runs. You got to win a game when you're up 6 runs. If you score 4 or more, those are games you got to win, boys.
Oh yeah.
And it's not our lineup's fault. Like it's our pitching, and it's like Jason was saying, like it's Ray was hot, and then he's now cold, and then it doesn't help when Jason JMO was been hot, and now he's cold. So it's like that was the guy we were kind of been leaning on for a little while, and now we've leaned a little bit too much on him. And luckily, we're getting Shota back, and hopefully this rotation will even itself out. And they were talking today. I think I read. They've inquired on quite a few pitchers, Bendark or Bendard from the Pirates, and a couple guys from the Marlins franchise too. So hopefully we can even this out and figure this out, because I really believe in this lineup, but this rotation, man, we're gonna struggle.
Well, one of the things about it though is Seattle is that team, and I'm just saying this part right now. They basically go around Cal Raleigh, the dumper.
Yeah.
It's like they're getting all of those pitches because everybody's trying to avoid him. He's the leading home run hitter.
So he's got 32, and before the All-Star break.
I know, and they all try to avoid, and everybody's getting fat pitches down the middle. Everybody. It's it's like you're trying to avoid him. They're all getting it, and it's like that happened in this series, even with it,
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was actually screaming at the TV when Ray was pitching. I was like, with the way the wind was blowing and the weather in Chicago at that time, I'm like, you have to, in that situation, you have to keep the ball down.
Yeah.
You can't be throwing 98-mile-per-hour meatballs in the heart of the plate to a guy like Carl Ray or whatever his name is, the guy that leads.
The big
Raleigh.
Yeah, just call him Big Dumper. Big Dumper. That's the best.
Like you can't do that, and that's what I think Ben Brown's problem is. Like he thinks you can throw a 98-mile-per-hour fastball down the middle of the plate, and nobody's going to catch up to it. I
don't think Ben Brown is a future starter in this league. I think he is going to be a great reliever in this league, but and maybe a back end reliever. That's how good I think he can be. But he goes 2-3 times through the order, we're in trouble, and that's usually what happens. It's like the first time through he's okay, but them second and third times it gets real ugly. So I personally think like his starting days should be over, and it's just build this guy in as a reliever.
Well, but one thing too, it's everybody, all of those years, we've done this, 3 years now, this deal?
Yeah.
I mean, this show. And it's like, think of it this way. All of those years and all those times and all the things where I was talking about that I liked the past, Kyle Hendricks, not the one of last year, damn no.
But, year before.
Yeah, year before and other years before that. There's a reason why I was constantly for that. It's because it's like the game that he had against the Yankees, and it was shutout, brilliant performance, like the old days. It's just that 2-3 pitches ground out, 2-3 pitches. There's no 98 down the fat part. It's right on the edge. And it was every time painting corners, getting all that stuff. And it's like we have 3 guys in the deal that can go 98 and they get jacked these home runs. And it's like that's why I was for that guy all those years because there was ground balls. There wasn't a ton of strikeouts, but there was ground balls. There was ground balls. There was pop-ups, 1 or 2 pitches, maybe 3, those type of deals. And it's like, and it saves your bullpen.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like, what's the thing? I'm not mad that there's no Kyle anymore because he's not the same anymore. I'm saying I wish it was that old-time one. Because what we see right now in this rotation is why I say it. I would love to get somebody. Tyon, when he can be, this is the thing about him. He has the
you weren't crazy about him like 2 years ago, was it? You or JB?
No. I liked it that he was from the Yankees.
And had a 14-win season.
Yeah, the 14-win season when you're in New York when nobody else was able to pitch. And I do like the guy. He has the ability to be, because he'll have 3 innings where he's got like 17 pitches in 3 innings.
And then he'll give up the bomb.
Then he'll give up the bomb, and then he'll have another inning where he'll have another inning. We'll have 30 pitches in the inning. Because he overthinks it after the bomb, and that's the point about it. He has the ability to be like that, but he doesn't. Then he gets all over the place.
Yeah. Well, right now he's like second in the league in giving up. He gave up 21 home runs so far.
Yeah.
So
you're correct on that, and Nick's correct on that. It's like he'll have 17 pitches in 3 innings, and he'll give up a bomb, and then he goes all over the place.
Yep.
So here in the last week, since we did the last show last Wednesday, the Cubs have given up 54 runs. I just added it up.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, that defense definitely has to come back. But actually, on a happier note, this Cubs for you, who Nick himself says is the best left fielder in Chicago Cubs history, Ian Happ. So far in the season, he's batting .246 with 11 home runs. He had that 2-home-run game we just talked about, 38 RBIs, and
add another one tonight. Denzel. He cranked one tonight.
12 home runs on the year. 38 RBIs. And Jacob, I know you're a fan of PS. 39 RBIs. Yep. It was 748 OPS. Actually, we'll start with Jacob on this one. Your thoughts on Ian Happ this year?
Decent. I mean, pretty good. I still hate that he's the leadoff hitter. I still hate it. I don't like a power hitter at the leadoff spot. I'd rather see PCA at the leadoff spot. But
PCA though is just as power. It's got more power.
He's got power, but he's got speed. But he's got speed.
Agreed. I mean, he's a 20-20 guy, so it's just like you know what I mean.
He's got speed.
It's kind of.
I want speed on the bag. I want speed in that thing. It's like I still remember the days. I'm just saying, maybe I've got the old school in me, but I still remember Davey Martinez, then Ryan Sandberg, then Dawson Grace,
right?
Or Grace Dawson. I mean, that kind of thing. It's like, when your second is like, guess what? Your second can be Sandberg. Your second can be Happ.
Agreed. I'm not disagreeing. I feel like PCA should be the leadoff guy just because of the speed. But I also get why Ian is the leadoff guy as well. Ian also sees a lot more. He's also more patient than PCA and sees more pitches and is the more veteran guy. So I kind of get why Ian is there, especially as a switch hitter too. So,
if nothing else, Nico Horner. I'm just saying though. But I want guys that are on base and that move around the base and do all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't see Ian doing a whole hell of a lot of stolen bases.
Here's a thought. How about Tucker at leadoff?
No. He's still a power guy. It's like I like Ian and Tucker at 3 and 4. If it's nothing else, but he tells Ian can beat number 2 even. But I'm like, but it's one of those. One of the things is, this is one thing about analytics I don't like. It's just the fact that it's like you think of, we got to have a power guy at the top. It's like, why? Well, analytics says. But then meanwhile, PCA started the first month at number 8. It's like that's what analytics says. You know what I mean?
And he crushed it. He crushed it when Ian was out. Like, so when we got that glimpse of PCA at the leadoff spot when Ian was out. So
it wasn't bad. Yeah.
But
no, Nick, I know that's your guy, man. Your thoughts on Ian Happ this year so far?
I don't want to say he's like my guy. I'm just making the case that I think he's the greatest Cubs left fielder of all time. Like, in that nobody's ever like.
Wasn't Billy Williams a left fielder?
No, he was center fielder.
Center.
Okay. Then okay,
So
cool.
that's
The
why I
only
said
other
it.
He's
one,
not better Billy Williams.
the only other one was what, Alou, but was Alou past his prime when he came to the club?
Not
He,
really.
and he
He
wasn't a
wasn't there long
Cub
enough.
for that long. Like Ian has got over 1,000 hits in a Cub uniform. Like
Yeah.
over 100 home runs in a Cub uniform. Like Ian has been here. He's that guy. He's getting hot right now. He's never going to be the guy that carries you the team. Is like the star of the team, right? Again, he is Anthony Rizzo, but a left fielder.
And
Mm,
how many
That's it.
Gold Gloves has he won?
Yeah,
Was
he's won two or three Gold
Happ has
Gloves.
Yeah,
two or
That's
I
it.
three.
think it
Yeah.
was like 2 or 3.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it could be
So,
on his way to another one. You know what I
yep.
mean? This year, and once they finally put him. You remember when he first came up, he was going to be like a Ben Zorbris type. He's going to play the infield. He's going to play the outfield. Once they said, "You screw all that, we're going to put you in left field," and he's stellar. He's a B plus baseball player, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason, your thoughts about Happ this season?
I can. I'm not a big fan, like as of Nick. Like when he first came out, I just what, man, he just doesn't have like the spunk
Man,
that like I'm looking for.
y'all appreciate these players. Remember, Ian Happ was saying his goodbyes in the dugout, and then a
Yeah,
miraculous bolt of lightning, he stayed with the Cubs. Y'all better
yeah.
but
appreciate these boys while they're here.
like don't get me wrong. Like it's just like little quirks that I don't really like. But I think he's good on the mic when he's doing interviews.
He can
says
have
the
his
right
quirks
things.
with the Cardinals.
But I mean, like don't get me wrong. I love his defensive play.
Right.
I think he is a power hitter. And like I said, he's probably gonna win another Gold Glove this year. And I think maybe the last time I looked, I thought he was like either third or fourth in All-Star votes for left
Yeah.
field. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's people out there that like him.
He's never going to be he's never going to be like your best. If he's your best player, you're probably in trouble. But
Yeah.
he's definitely a guy that you want on your team. He's definitely a guy better than over some of the left fielders out there. So he's
Mhm.
above average. He's definitely a guy that you want on your team. He's going to be a leader of your team. He handles his business the right way. So I think like he gets I don't know, a lot of flack maybe, but
Yeah.
um
There is a
and
lot of. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nick. But there is a lot, like on Twitter. That's like they keep him calling him hapless. Like that's
yeah.
like the big word they use towards him.
And maybe because he hasn't had that big moment and he's been on the team for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jay, I was rooting for that the other night, game 1 of the Cardinals. We had the bases loaded and he was up there. And all I could think about was JB, crushing him the other night last week. And I was like, man, I just want Ian to crank one out, and then he grounds out a damn double play. And I was like, well,
Yeah,
shit.
but I'm saying fans can be idiots. But I'm
Yeah.
saying though, but the big thing about it is the fact that we can't listen to that part whatsoever. But if you're talking about we're in trouble if it's if they're in trouble if the team he's the best on the team. Well, think of it this way: he could be the best on Colorado.
Yeah, oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely. He'd be the most valuable player. Like Ian Happ, like he's in year 9, right? 4 of those years he hit 20 plus home runs. 2 of those years was 25 home runs. That's about peak Happ right there. Those 25 home runs. That
He's a
would be his
good
peak.
baseball player. He's
Yes.
a good baseball player. Like that's
Mhm.
like he's a solid baseball. He's not a great baseball player. He's not elite. He's not a Hall of Famer. But by God, he's somebody you want on your team. He's a good ball player. He's gonna do what you ask him to do. He's gonna hit 25 home runs. He's gonna hit close to 300.
The
He's
defense will
gonna
be there
play
for
elite
sure. Yeah.
defense.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people may say he's a better defender than he is a hitter.
He might be.
So I mean, it depends on how. But me personally, I think he's the heart and soul of the team. If
I do.
the
Yeah.
Cubs,
He's
if the
Anthony
Cubs,
Rizzo.
yeah,
Of this
him,
team.
yeah, Rizzo got it. Yeah. If the Cubs assigned captains, he would be it. And your captain doesn't have to be your best player. Just someone who is a leader. Ian Happ, he's exhibited that leadership ability, and he's dependable. You can count on him whenever you need him to come through. But I want to take it to outside of Wrigley for a second for for a pretty dark topic, actually. And
Mhm.
in an update that I received, the fan who heckled the Diamondbacks second baseman Ketel Marte for remarks on his deceased mother. He's actually okay. So I'm hearing actually two different things here. I've heard he's indefinitely banned from all MLB ballparks, and then
Yeah,
I
that
also saw another report that said it was a permanent ban. Um, but the
he's
man, oh, go
banned
ahead.
from all MLB, banned from all MLB parks.
Yes, yes. Now, do you know if it's because I heard one source said indefinite, another said permanent.
It's permanent.
Is yeah.
It's permanent. Okay, okay
Yeah.
then. Okay, so well, I guess the update on that was because the last one I saw was indefinite, but yeah,
Isn't
just
indefinite and permanent the same thing?
No,
permanent means
indefinite
that's
means
it.
I mean,
Indefinite means you can come back just when
Oh.
when we're ready. Yeah. But Jason, I want to start with you, man. How bad have fans been in recent years? And you know what? Just going even outside of baseball here for a second, because me and Jacob have had many a conversation, just in sports in general. How bad have some of these fans been in recent years?
trash.
Yeah, yeah, it's uncalled for. Nobody has my address, right?
No.
White
I
Sox
wish they
fans,
tried
man,
me.
dude. White Sox fans, they suck, and they're excuse my language, but they're shitty human beings. And like
They are.
you know, you're gonna talk like that to a player, and about his mom, dude. That's just it's uncalled for, man. Uncalled for.
Yeah. Now the White Sox organization did put I think it was something outside of their stadium said the White Sox community supports Ketel Marte, so that was actually classy of the organization. Again, that was the organization. The topic, of course, is about the fans. I'm moving on to Nick. Nick, your thoughts about this incident and just how bad fans have been in general in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say like all White Sox fans suck because I mean, I do have like one or two that I
He's like,
like.
I value my life here. Okay.
No, I mean, I'm friends with some of them that there's first of all, in this situation, it seems like there's a reoccurring theme with shitty ass White Sox fans. I think the fat lady who brought the gun in a couple years ago and shot herself or shot somebody. There was shots fired outside the stadium as well. You have this incident, so I mean, White Sox fans, Jesus, so, you know, all 50 y'all, you know, there's about 25 of y'all that might be halfway decent. But as fans as a whole, like we need as society as a whole, we need to be better, and we need to be better as fans. And there's shitty ass fans. There's shitty Cub fans. I know that. Like I know that there's shitty fans in every fan base because there's shitty people all over the world. And so like I've run into we've run into quite a few, or I've seen quite a few. And the sad thing is, it's like. Man, remember, like I tell, like fans need to remember what it was like when we didn't have sports, when we were fucking sitting here at home during COVID and we didn't have anything, and then they were putting, we all had to watch the games with stupid, whether it was the stupid NBA shit, the bubble where you had to watch it through a TV type thing,
Paper
or
cardboard fans and all
yes.
Yeah,
that.
Like
yep.
remember that when you go to the ballpark, it is a privilege to be there at the ballpark, and to enjoy the game. Every time you turn on Twitter or TV, there's fans fighting in the stands. There's they're duking it out. I saw Pittsburgh. The usher and the fan
Yeah,
got into it. Like there's no need for that. It's never that fucking serious.
Yeah.
Sorry for dropping the F bomb, but it's just kind of how I feel. But it's not that serious. Like, and remember what it was like when it was taken away from us. Like that's what I like. You know what I mean? So like, remember that. Like, because it's not gonna be. It's not. It doesn't have to be like this, and it should be enjoyable. Everybody should be able to go to the game and enjoy it. And the players should be able to play. I'm not a huge booer of fans or a huge player of guys saying like. I might say a guy's struggling. I might even say they stink every once in a while. I will say that, but by God, they're still better than 99% of us. They're the 1%ers of the 1%. So,
Right.
much respect to the fan, to the players, and fans. We just got to be better. You got to be better. We got to be
Yeah.
better.
Absolutely. And they really don't know how much the players actually appreciate the fans, or just in general. Like, and Nick, you're a wrestling fan. Same you, Jacob. You remember the first WrestleMania where they had live fans? It was the first event where they had live fans back. It was WrestleMania, and Vince
Yep.
McMahon brought all the wrestlers on stage, and he
Yep.
thanked the fans and everything. And there were some wrestlers up there in tears because they missed the fans. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I got two ways of saying this part right now here, and I'm just going to say this. You know how many times I say fans are trash? Fans are absolute unmitigated garbage. I'm talking about every fan of every type, not every team, not every fan, because I love all of the fans that come with their 8-year-olds, and give them a good time and all that stuff and buy them the food. I love those guys. And if the kid if it can be 9-1, the kid had a great experience. Love those fans. I despise the ones that think that they're in the front office. I have no idea what they're talking about. Despise them. That have hate and bile and all that stuff, especially they did. But another thing, just being very, very honest, seeing Kettle Marte, I'm going to say this. The Bears drafted Kettle Marte, Caleb Williams. They drafted that because here's the thing about this. And I am as close to my mom as you can get. I do talk to my mom every day. We are close. I was very close to my dad. But I'm just saying this, guys, okay? I was close to my family. I'm close to everything. But I also have an idea that we are all meant to be orphans one day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when I saw his tears, I thought she just passed. That it happened. It's been 8 years.
It was almost like she died again.
Yeah, it was 8 years. Mm-hmm. And the thing I'm saying with this is why I didn't like that choice in Chicago. That's why I did not, because that is exactly what will happen. Because there are more that will do that, and it's like most of the time. See, the one thing about the White Sox in Chicago is they don't have fans, so you can hear everything. Mm-hmm. You can hear everything, and it's like the big thing about this is like if he is doing this in 8 years after it's passed. What would it have been? How bad off would it have been if she had just passed away 3 days ago?
Yeah, true.
And I mean, just whatever. And it's like when he acted like that is what I was saying with it. It's like, are we? And I'm going to say this about it. It's like this is not anything against Kettle Marte, okay? Not a thing, because we all have our way of grieving. We all have our thing, okay? Mm. But when do we, in a way, grow up in our own time? You to understand that it's our time to have to do this, to our time to raise kids. Not that I've had any yet, but our time to do everything. That's what these things are for. And it's like, I think of this type of deal and the grief that happened 7-8 years later with a young man. I think of who was that guy on Tampa Bay who was going after 14-year-old girls?
Wanderlei Franco.
Yeah. Thank you. That, and something, it's those type of things. The men aren't growing up easily. They're not. It's like that kind of thing. They're not growing up. They're not getting everything. It's arrested development, even if they got all the money in the world. He was very close to his mom, and I've been close to my mom too. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But if it's been 8 years and it's like that, then you have to wonder you have to wonder if it's ever going to stop on him. Does he have more than meet the eye?
We don't know what was actually said. We just know it was something about his mother. And here's my thing. It's like, how vile of a human are you to look up somebody? Like, who knew that he died before this?
Oh, you know what I mean? I didn't know.
That's agreed.
Exactly. So, like, how vile of a human do you have to be to look up, to know that his mom died, and then the intent to go to the park and then being like, you know what, I'm going to say some shit to this person. And it's good, you know what I mean? Like to try to mess with them. Like that's how. That's the lowest of low type of human being to me. Because like you had to Google something to to know this. You know what I mean?
Oh, fans are garbage. I mean, this isn't a thing to take the fan side at all. I want him out of every part of every sport. I hope every sport takes him out. I mean, that doesn't let him go. I'm going to say that I can't stand fans. I have that type of deal. But I am also saying. It's like there is a arrest. I thought when I saw those tears initially, I thought he just lost his mom like days earlier. Mm. That was what I thought, and then I heard it's been 8 years.
And I want to say she died right when he got to the majors.
It's like it affected him like that 8 years later is what I'm saying, and it's like, it's like there's more than meets the eye to this.
Yeah, well, that's what we don't know what.
Yeah,
we don't know what's said.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to be blunt with you. I don't care if it's 8 days, 8 weeks, or 8 years. A guy talks about my deceased mother. I'm throwing hands.
Well, throw hands.
Like Dude,
Throw
like
hands. I'm with you.
yeah, that's unacceptable, man.
No, you're good. I'm glad. Throw hands. We got to be a man here.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you're saying to tell him to throw hands. Then what? Then what happens? Then he's the player that ran into the crowd, and you know what I mean? Like you got to be able to conduct yourself appropriately, and shedding tears the way you acted was more appropriate than throwing hands in that situation. You know what I mean? So like I tip my cap to him because most people would want to throw hands.
Jacob, you remember this?
Point,
Vernon Maxwell did in the '90s. He ran in the stands and punched that Trailblazers fan for saying something about his stillborn daughter. And hey, I understood.
I am with Vernon Maxwell on that completely.
Yeah. It's a tough situation to be in, man, because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You know, like Nick said, that's just my opinion. Like I would throw hands, but like Nick said, if Martell goes out there and jumps in the stands and starts beating on this guy, what happens to him, man? He gets
I understand
a 60 game suspension or something.
And especially then he's like, well, why did you jump into the crowd and fight the guy? Well, he said something about mom. Then we got to figure that out. So like, I think
my bigger worry is that the media calls it toxic masculinity and all that garbage. But I don't like the idea. See, you have to understand where I see with tears when I see something like that. It is more that it's not just the idea of the man crying or whatever, because we're all going to have the situations like that. It is the fact that how much is it affecting, and can it affect him in a dark or in a lone place? If you get my point.
Well, I get that,
like,
but
how much depression does he have? That's why I'd rather them lash out at the guy than just cry and do something like that and leave it alone, is what I mean. Because I don't like depression. I don't like suicide.
Well, yeah. I mean, hopefully he's seeking some sort of counseling and grief counseling for that. And again, to me, it's okay to cry. Like it's okay. Like it's okay.
Well, I said we're going to have our grief.
And shout out to his manager too, because not only did he go and console him on the mound beforehand, he led the charge in getting that fan thrown out. It's like no one messes with my guys. And me personally, I would have halted the game. I am not fielding a team until that fan gets thrown out. No one does my guys like that. No. I'm hard putting the game at a standstill. I don't play that.
And you know something, I am with you guys on the thing. It's like I'm not saying that it's not right. I want you to understand that I'm not saying that there isn't, because there's going to be times when you have grief and you cry. We've all had it. Every one of us. Mm-hmm. That isn't what I'm saying on it. It's what I bring up. I think there's times to have to be able to do it. But what worries me is suicide is so rampant, and it gets younger, and it gets everything. And I would much rather see the Vernon Maxwell way of handling things and the anger and go pop that guy. I really would.
Well, that's just that's a different form of grief, because then you're just taking the anger out that you built up.
Yeah,
the grief and anger.
It makes me fear I'm going to hear a thing in a few days. Every time I see crying, makes me fear that I'm going to hear in a few days the worst possible situation.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine. I mean, it's crazy. All great commentary coming in. It's just one of those situations where you truly don't know 100% until you are put in that situation. It might be kind of easy to say, like, man, I got to conduct myself, but then you lose somebody close. Then you playing on the field, and then a fan says something about your man that just died. You don't know how you're going to react. You know what I mean? We know the reasonable thing will be like, ignore him, tune him out, but obviously Marte was very close to his mother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, like that brought him to tears. It's an unfortunate situation, and fans, fans have got to be better. You know what I mean? And like I said, two things can be true here. Yes, the players could afford to tune it out and just, ignore it and go on about the ball game. But if you did go punch that guy, I'm not losing any sleep about it.
That's me too.
Yeah. But let's end this show on a happier note. That's our Hot Cup time machine, a little trip down memory lane. The 2017 National League Divisional Series Game 5. The Cubs went into the 6th inning with an 8-4 advantage, and they ended up holding off the Nationals comeback to win 8-7. I think it was Harper that got struck out on the final out to reach the NLCS in a near 5-hour game, 4 hours, 37 minutes. Jason, take it away. Your thoughts about this game?
They should have had the pitch compact on. 5 hours, man. That's a long game, man.
That's a long game.
That's too long to be playing a baseball game.
You know it would have crushed souls if this was game 1 of a doubleheader.
Oh man!
Be like, hey, no, forfeit. I'm done. That's enough baseball today.
I have Marquee at home, and they advertise like Cubs Classics, and there's one game on there. I think it was like 22-22.
And it was the Phillies, and that's the Phillies.
Yeah.
1979.
Yeah, and I was like, "What in the hell?" And it just kept going and going and going, man. It's insane.
Oh no, yeah. That was the 23-22. It was the 10th inning. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Nick, your thoughts about this game, man?
I mean, again, 5 hours is a long time, but that was one of them games we had to win. You know what I mean? To advance. That was to go to our third straight NLCS, the good old glory days, 2017. I believe the closer was Wade Davis at that point in time. So his 1 year rental with Wade Davis. So hey.
Yeah, it is what it is. And Jacob, your thoughts about this game?
Just to have a little bit of a laughter that's off subject for a second. Ace Bailey is the Utah Jazz.
Oh wow! He went to Utah. That's crazy.
After he said he didn't want to go to Utah, I love it. But
it was like 3 teams he said he didn't want to go to.
No, Charlotte, and Utah. But no, okay, and Concanoople is also in Utah. So no, but the thing about it is, I think Dusty was the manager of Washington at the time, and
yes, he was.
And I think Washington, Dusty, I was like, I was in the thing of my 99.9% of course, the Cubs, but there was that because after I want to get to the World Series, I want to repeat, but I was like, I was seeing the comeback coming, and I was seeing. Something, I am not going to get completely angry if Dusty pulls this off because he went through a hell of a lot. I'm glad for him in Houston. But, the biggest thing about it was the fact that I would have loved to have had a repeat, but they just didn't have that kind of team. You know what I mean? Especially no Dexter Fowler.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, the biggest thing about it is those were nice times, but that example of what I'm talking about, what I say what I respect with the Cardinals all the time is they're always there. It's like Cubs got that 2016, 2017, and after that, that's the point I make. It's like Cardinals are just constantly there. Last year was a 90. They've had 2 90-loss seasons in like 85 years.
Yeah,
they're just always there. I'm like, I would kill for that all the time to say 86 wins is our terrible year. It's that because after 2017, it was like, just keep phasing down. It's like, it's hard. It's hard to stay consistent like that all the time. And to say the Yankees, they talk about the Yankees that they haven't won a World Series since 2009. They've been to 3 or 4 of those World Series. They've been to 6 ALCS. I'd love to have that struggle.
Yeah.
I'd love to have that struggle. And that's my point I make about the Bears. I make about my teams. I'd love to have your struggle. I'd love to have the Steelers struggle. Yeah. I'd love to have the struggle of missing in the playoffs. I'd love to have that considering it's 5 wins.
Yep. Hey, one thing to note about this particular ball game, remember this guy, shortstop Addison Russell, turned in 4 RBIs. Probably the reason why the Cubs won that game.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Absolutely.
I was about to say, where's Addison Russell?
Yeah, where is Addison Russell? I don't.
He's probably 40 years old now.
On the mound for the Cubs, Brian Dunsing got the win, Mad Max got the loss, and Wade Davis got the save.
Yeah.
Well, Well, that's our show for this evening. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Cubfidential. This is promo season. Jason, where can everybody find you?
Here.
He don't do nothing.
Part time.
There's a red wall behind you. I can see it.
All I gotta say is, try not to suck.
There you go.
Amen. Hell yeah.
Just try not to suck. Nick, go ahead, man. What you got?
Yeah, in about 15 minutes time, you can catch Head Kicks and Haymakers on my YouTube channel. Please join us. We got a whole bunch to talk about. John Jones retirement, UFC 314 on Saturday. So a whole lot to talk about tonight here in about 15 minutes or so.
All right. And Jacob, your turn.
Well, I'm Jacob Christer on Facebook. I am Sideline One Sports. All of us on the on TikTok, and then Jacob Christner _ on Instagram. You know, that kind of thing. And then I'm also working on movies and getting ideas going on. I write a little bit.
All right. And I am Denzel Snipes, and we will all see you next week for another episode of Cubfidential.